Welcome back, Dawgs fans, to the first episode of the 2022-2023 season here on the Rail Yard Dawgs Podcast Series. I'm Mitch Stewart, the voice of the Rail Yard Dawgs, and as the new season rapidly approaches us here in just a few more weeks, I'm delighted to introduce our guest for today's episode, former second-round NHL pick that tallied over 100 goals and 200 career points with 6 different teams in the show. Jamie McGinn has now hung up the skates and assumed the role of chairman of the Breakaway Sports Entertainment Group and will be representing the Rail Yard Dawgs as their primary governor here in the Southern Professional Hockey League. Jamie, welcome into today's episode. I think I can speak for everyone when I say we're very excited to have you on today.
Well, thank you for having me, Mitch. It's good seeing you again. Can't wait for opening night to be around the arena. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think that you are spot on with that. Everyone is itching to get back. But before we look ahead at this season, I do want to kind of bring it back a little bit to when you and the McGinn family really began the process of acquiring a minor league hockey franchise. What did you all kind of think that it would look like, and what level of involvement did you all anticipate having with the team?
Yeah, how it all started was I kind of learned a lot during my second NHL lockout I was a part of, I guess you could say. I kind of took a look at the business side of things and the ownership side, and kind of there's some things I thought that I could change and treat the players better, and just wanted to be a part of that. And it was something that I could fall back on after my career. So I brought it up to my dad and the rest of my brothers, the clan, and we kind of came up with this idea, and we found a great spot in Roanoke. So I don't know if we ever thought it'd look like this. I think we did excellent by finding the right venue and great fan base. And, I can't say enough about Roanoke Valley. It's a beautiful place, and the fans seem to enjoy the games. And as long as we put on an exciting product, that building's rocking. So it's exceeded my dreams, but something that, I really look forward to after my career. Now, did I want my career to end, when it did? No, because I miss that every day, but I'm definitely looking forward to the next chapter.
We're quickly approaching now the 6th season and 7th year overall for the Dawgs that began back in October of 2016. What are some areas of the team, the franchise, kind of the market overall in the Roanoke Valley that have maybe been more successful than what you and the McGinn family maybe anticipated at first?
Yeah, I think the fans, like I've touched on that before. The people love the Dawgs. It's beautiful to see when you walking around arena and every person in there has something with the Dawgs logo on it, and that means a lot to the family, and that's just hockey hungry people. So it's fun to see. The community is great. The people around, we have great local owners, and I think they do a great job in the building, and great staff. So as long as you put those right pieces in place, you're built for success. That's for sure.
You've been working a lot with your father, Bob, as well as team president Mickey Gray on just trying to get up to speed on the business side of running a franchise. What has that transition been like for you? And are there any lessons that you've learned already that you're trying to take with you here into your first season as chairman?
Yeah, well, my idea after I retired was just be a sponge, take in as much information as I can. I wanted to learn the ins and outs of every position in the business, because if some people are unhappy, you want to do the best to fix those problems and make everyone happy around the workplace. So as you recall, when I first came in, I had a couple of stints as assistant coach. I remember game 1 went very well. I think we won 6-1. And so that was a lot of fun, learning the bench side of things, getting to know Dan even better, seeing how he runs the day-to-day, learning the training staff, everyone that comes down, even Gary, who helps out in the locker room every day. Meeting those people meant a lot to me, because then you know what they're talking about if they come to you with a problem. So I was a sponge, and after morning skate, I would go in and spend an hour or two with Mickey. I'd learn the budget. I'd learn what goes on in the day to day, what things we have to look into, and then just walking around with my dad. My dad is a great people person, and he knows the right things to say, and he's a great guy to be around. So just listening to him over the last few years, he definitely got us to this place, along with Mickey Gray and Alexandra. So just listening and not acting like I knew what I was talking about, just keeping my mouth shut and learning as much as possible. I think that's how I got to this point anyway.
you've been the principal owner of the team since day one of the team's inception, but now that your playing days have come to an end, you made the decision to become more involved with how the franchise runs. What kind of led to that decision?
Well, that was always the goal. Coming into this thing, I knew it wasn't going to happen overnight. When I retired, I think I miss playing hockey every day mentally. I miss being around the locker room, and hopefully, maybe I can throw on the skates and help out with the guys here and there. But my body just told me it was time. So I kind of prepared ahead of time, not knowing when the career was going to end, but knowing like my back and my body, I didn't know how long it was going to hold up. So my dad was doing a great job, and I didn't expect it to happen overnight. So I've been really taking more of an interest, watching every game, learning the ins and outs of the business, and asking a lot of questions. So as that went along, I think the timing is right. Mickey, my dad, and the Bergen Center with Robin, they just signed that 5-year extension. So that means we have 6 more years of hockey in Roanoke. So I think they did a great job to set me up for success. There's going to be no changes and everything. I just want to be involved more. And I think, this is my opportunity to keep the business moving forward.
You must be reading my mind or something, because you kind of touched on exactly where I wanted to head next. And that is that great piece of news that came out just a few weeks ago. The Dawgs reaching an agreement with the city of Roanoke to commit to 5 more years in the Berglund Center for Roanoke Rail Yard Dawgs hockey. It sends a pretty strong message. It feels like after the 2 previous stints had been 3 years at a time for the lease agreements. How assuring is that for you and the McGinn family to receive that vote of confidence from the city as we try to bolster the future of the franchise here in the Star City?
Yeah, we definitely want to be here for a long time. If it didn't prove that we kept everyone around during COVID and kept the team afloat and then came back strong last year, those are tough times. But we wanted to make sure the people of Roanoke knew that we were here for the long haul. And if that wasn't proof enough, signing a 5-year extension to have 6 more years of hockey, I think the writing's on the wall that we want to be here. We love Roanoke. We do the summer hockey camps, to help out youth hockey. And, so we want to get that back going. We couldn't do those because of COVID. And then, I've had 2 kids since then, and Ty's had a kid, and Brock got married this summer. So we've been a busy family in the meantime anyway. So we look back to getting in the groove of things. My dad's instilled in us that is very important, which I agree on. So we're going to be bringing those back. But the lease at the end of the day was a huge one for us. And now we can kind of breathe easy and keep moving forward.
And as far as moving forward, it seems like on the ice each year, the team keeps making steps in the right direction. Last year, of course, the team making it to the President's Cup final for the first time in franchise history. It was a blast, I'm sure, for you and the family up in Canada. I know you guys came to a few of the games there at the end of the year, and I know that it was a lot of fun and very enjoyable for the fans, players, staff alike down here in Southwest Virginia. What was kind of going through your mind, and what was your experience like as you watched the season unfold and then ended up almost getting to the point where they were lifting the trophy at the end?
Well, first of all, great job calling the games. That was really fun and entertaining to listen to you and watch those games. So kudos to you. The other thing was, it was an up and down season. You have your highs and your lows, but it's how long you're going to be in the lows. We had that 9-game stretch where we didn't win a game, but we came out. We learned from our lessons. We know we can't have that again, because those are the real, downhill parts of the season, but you got to get through them. And that's where leadership's going to take over. And we build off that. So there was a lot of learning curves in that season that I think we can take, we remember. And as long as you make the playoffs, anything can happen. As we proved last year, beat the first place, second place, and third place teams. So that was exciting hockey. Making it to the finals is a great achievement, but the end goal is to eventually lift that cup. So we're looking forward to it. We learned from last year. We take those experiences and we channel them into working harder this season and just continue to get better. But I think the goal is just putting on a great effort every night. And if the guys show up, you're not going to win every game, but if you show the compete factor, good things are going to happen. And you never know what's going to happen in the playoffs, just like we proved last year.
I think one thing that might be a bit confusing for fans is when they see that you're moving into the role of chairman and not knowing maybe what that means, what's different, what's going to change, if anything. Can you give the fans a bit more insight on kind of what to expect from you in your role as chairman and what the leadership dynamic will look like between you and Mickey?
Yeah, it's just working together with Mickey, knowing the day to day what's going on. But at the end of the day, Mickey's the president and he's doing a great job in Roanoke. I think he knows what he's talking about. He's a very intelligent guy. But it's just kind of the last guy in command. Big decisions would go through me. And, I just want to be more hands on. Being the principal owner, I want to be a part of this long term. And I think now's the time to do it. My dad's going to be an advisory role, so he's going to be right beside me. And any questions I have, he's there to help me out. So I have a good support staff around me, and I have no worries. And there's not going to be much changes. It's a title change right now, and I want to work more closely with Mickey on the day-to-day things and learn. Not that I'm going to be telling him what to do, but just get more information and enjoy the process. This is new for me. It's the next chapter of life, and I'm really looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Your whole life in the world of hockey up until now, you've been able to have a direct impact on individual games and results by playing and being on the ice. Now you have a lot of influence in the bigger picture and the overall direction of the team. But once the puck is dropped, you're kind of just like all the rest of the fans. You're just hoping that it's a constructive performance and hopefully a good result at the end. Has that
Yeah.
been challenging for you to make that adjustment just from a competitive nature standpoint? And what are some of the differences you've encountered in dealing with those ebbs and flows that we talked about as an owner versus as a player?
Yeah, well, first off, I mean, in the finals, I don't know if you saw me at the home games, but I was on the edge of my seat playing every shift with the guys. So I felt like I was out there, and that's the biggest difference is not having no control of what happens on the ice. I can't make a big hit. I can't score a goal. Um, there's I can't change momentum. So you can put the ducks in a row, and then once the puck drops, it's all about playing hockey. Dan has a great system put in place, so it's if the guys follow that system, and then if they show up and the effort's there, that's where you where you have success. Now, it's very frustrating to not be able to do anything, but I'm enjoying it. My body feels better for it, and kind of sitting in the stands with the fans, you get a different energy. You when you're on the ice, you can hear the energy and stuff, and you can make the crowd go nuts. But when you're in the stands, you really feel the energy in that building, and you got to love it when our fans are all over the other team and the refs and stuff. That's what it's all about. We're trying to put on a product that everyone can bring their family to at a reasonable rate and just enjoy it and want to come back and just have a different experience they've never had before.
You talked about how busy the family has been kind of over this summer and the off season. I want to zero in a little bit on your brothers, Brock and Ty. Obviously, last season, Brock completed his first year of a 4-year deal with the Pittsburgh Penguins, and Ty was playing for a different set of Penguins, Fishtown, over in the Dell in
Mm-hmm.
Germany. And you just bring us up to speed on kind of what they're doing, where they're at as they approach another season in hockey.
Yep, Ty signed with the new team just about 45 minutes outside of Munich, so it's a little easier to get to. So he is signed there for 1 year and enjoying Oktoberfest, and he has his son there. So a new experience, new city. He seems to be having a lot of fun, and it's a new opportunity for him. So he's still in the German league in the Dell, and then Brock's entering his second year with Pittsburgh, and you could see a difference in him this summer. After playing 1 year with arguably the best hockey player in the world in Sidney Crosby, you look at things a little different. It's almost like you want to work harder to keep up with him and not disappoint. So I expect a great year from him. Brock's got a great skill set and a lot of speed. So I enjoy watching Ty's games whenever I can on TV. They're normally in the middle of the day, and then followed up with a Pens game and Dawgs game. So I got my hockey. I'm going to get my hockey fill this winter. That's for sure. And I got to admit, my son, every game, whenever he sees a symbol, he chants "Go Dawgs, go!" So I look forward to opening night because then it's going to all come together, and it's going to be a great family moment for me.
Yeah, so that was kind of where I was gonna leave it off with you is, should we expect to see you in on opening night, maybe in the days before, as we kind of gear up for the new season that is very rapidly approaching us?
Yeah, I mean, where did summer go? But now we get to look forward to the next thing. So we will be traveling as a family to go see opening night for Brock in Pittsburgh, and then we're going to continue up to Roanoke and make sure we're there for the week of celebration of opening night. So I'll be traveling with my family, so I don't know how that's going to go with two little ones in the back seat, but we'll get through it and we'll be in Roanoke for sure. So I can't wait to get there.
Well, we're very excited to have you and appreciate you coming on today. Wishing you and your family the best until we see you all in mid-October here in a couple weeks.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you for having me, Mitch.
Absolutely. That will do it for this episode of the Rail Yard Dawgs podcast series. Make sure to follow the podcast series here on Spotify and stay tuned to railyarddogs.com and our social media platforms for more content and details in the coming weeks as we count down the start to the 2022-2023 season.